you work so hard as a parent with your kid to create a happy environment that when you're not with them, it has to be the right space where it's an extension of whatever it is you have going on, in your space at home. And I felt just that for our daughter.
I'm Agnes Stowicki, Managing Editor with Our Kids. We're speaking with insiders from Canada's leading camps and kids programs. This is the Our Kids Insider Perspective.
And just in learning what other parents have enrolled their children in, and hearing the feedback, City of Toronto Camp was certainly one that had good feedback. And my daughter's friends had had some great experiences at City of Toronto Camp, so we thought we'd give it a try that way. So my daughter had friends that went to City of Toronto camps, which was obviously the allure in showing an interest in putting her into City of Toronto camp. In addition to that, when I was doing the research about what City of Toronto had in store for their campers, it was pretty outstanding in comparison to other camps, day camps that I had looked at. The thing that drew us in mostly, other than my daughter being comfortable in her camp with friends, was the level of safety. So the City of Toronto seemed very stacked with components of their staff receiving first aid training. They were apparently go through some emergency first aid training, what to do with campers on site in the location that they're in. It made us feel very safe and comfortable knowing that that was a priority for this organization. And then, of course, all of the other things that were fun to see at camp, such as their theme-based activities. The one that my daughter has been to has a theme. So each week there was a rollout of a theme, and it carried through every single day at camp. So my daughter was coming home every day with the excitement of a storyline. So, for example, last summer it was a pirate ship. And the pirates were carrying out a storyline every single day. And my daughter was so excited to go back the next day because there was a story about what was going to happen the next day at camp, based on the theme of this pirate ship. And then they rolled out a special event each week that was in theme of this particular whatever it was. Let's talk about the pirates. And then the trip that they went on as well was phenomenal. It was not to do with the theme, but it was, geared towards the appropriate age group and the safety of it. And the City of Toronto was really good at addressing any concerns that we had prior to, in regards to, like what the staff ratios were with the kids, how many kids there were in a camp, and then what their procedures were in travel time when they left the facility. So it made us feel really comfortable. Um, I think the care and concern that paled in comparison to others. I mean, the City of Toronto seems like, my daughter felt really connected to the staff there. Other parents that I've spoken to felt the same, that the City of Toronto staff really took an interest in the kids, even though it was day camp. I know there's seems to be a difference between overnight and day in terms of how the staff are, but in terms of the day camp, they really took ownership of who the children were and got to know them on a personal level. Always put, the safety of the kids first, which was great, giving them reminders. My daughter would come home last summer talking about, the things that she learned. For example, when they went to the pool, safety in walking to the pool and things that they learned in the water from the staff. So they really took a personal spin on it, and I really appreciated that. So I feel like it's unique in that sense in comparison to other day camps that I've heard of. Yes, absolutely. My daughter is not one to be forefront of attention. She actually shies away from that. And one of the weeks we put her in, one of the first weeks we put her in, she only knew one other friend in the camp in particular, but they weren't in the same group. So it was really hard for her to go in to that environment, especially being young and being in kindergarten. It's a big deal going into a room with other kids that you don't know. And by the end of the fifth day, she was coming home talking about how wonderful the camp was and how she had made friends. And she was asking about, having play dates with these new friends that she made at camp. So her confidence level grew exponentially, even in that short first week. And you could tell that she just felt more comfortable, like having fun wasn't as stressful as she thought it was going in on her first day, that she was, a little bit more lenient towards the idea of camp and going to just enjoy it and have fun and not feeling the stress of it being something new. I think the excitement, I think the city of Toronto in particular was really informative in the sense where we got a letter home at the beginning of each week that had an agenda. So it pointed out the highlights of the week and what was going to take place. And that really helped us at home with our daughter when she came home from camp. If there was any uncertainties, we would be able to say, okay, well, let's reflect on the day and what happened today. And, she would say, oh, mommy and daddy, it was so much fun because we got to, do this craft or participate in this activity. So we'd be able to talk about it that, but we'd also be able to preemptively go into what was happening the next day. And so that was really exciting. And I really appreciated that as a parent because it helped us support her in whatever it is she was feeling, either excited or anxious about going into camp. So that really helped. In addition to that, they had like a parent, not an interview, but an opportunity for parents to come in and have a discussion, answer any questions, that kind of thing prior to the start of camp, which really helped us prepare our daughter for the experience for the summer. Um, Mainly, it's the people. It's the community. It's the care that the city of Toronto took particularly and personally with our daughter. Um, the personalization of it, the safety of it. I feel very strongly about that. That as a parent, you want, especially for a first time going to camp, you want to feel like it's an extension of your home in the sense where your kids are going to be somewhere where they're being taken care of and the thought and concern and care is there when you're not. And not for a second did I have to question that. And that was everything to us. So she loved it. She's like, Mommy, when are we going back? Registration was just last week. What are we on? Last week. And, she was so excited to know that she was going back to meet up with some of her friends from last summer. She really loved, particularly, she was in a dance camp and she loved the music. She loved the camaraderie and connection between all of the campers that were in the camp that were also doing the dance. She loved the instructor. So I'd say overall, she was just happy with being a part of something, the collectiveness of everyone enjoying the same thing and just there to have so much fun. It was just like the smallest things, like walking in on the first day, they had staff lined up in the hallway, not in an overwhelming way, but it was just a very welcoming, happy vibe. They had some music playing, and it kind of took the ease, right? It placed an ease on parents, but also on the kids walking through to say, oh, this is not, something that maybe I should feel happy coming into camp, right? It was that feeling of, oh, it's okay to smile. People are nice here. The staff are giving high fives. And then by the end of that first day, staff are walking through the hall as we're picking up kids and they're giving kids high fives and knowing their name. And that's I mean, not all of them, but that was on the first day. So to me, that says everything, because like I said, you know, you work so hard as a parent with your kid to create a happy environment that when you're not with them, it has to be the right space where it's an extension of whatever it is you have going on, you know, in your space at home. And I felt just that for our daughter. It was very happy and very welcoming, and the staff were just on point.
For more information about this program, you can visit their profile at OurKids.net.